Welcome to Thoughts of the Glass podcast. I'm LaToya.
And I'm Kendra.
And this is a weekly podcast where we share our unfiltered thoughts on a variety of topics.
So sit back, relax, grab your favorite drink, and join us on a conversation of real, raw, and ridiculously funny commentary.
Period. Every week we do a drink of the night. Kendra, what's our drink tonight?
Tonight's drink is called the Purple Rain.
Purple Rain.
Roll that beautiful bean footage. Oh.
Oh, what are we supposed to do?
Nothing.
Oh, we just supposed to cheers it. You be throwing me off a little bit.
I be switching it up sometimes. Anything with grenadine is always tasty.
Yeah, although it's good. Grenadine and curaçao has that little
I know. It's
but
sweet.
with the lemon and the other stuff, you can't really taste it for real. But that's good though. So, should I just jump right into my week? Or do you want to start?
Let me start.
Okay, you go ahead.
Because the last time we seen y'all
was before the 4th.
Before the 4th. I went.
You were trying to figure out if you were going to go down south.
We ended up not going down south because right before the recording came out, oh, Lord, my eyeball. We ended up having to go down south for a funeral. So that was kind of unexpected. So we ended up going down south for that. It was nice to see family, of course. It's always great to see family. I hate that you usually only really get together and see family when there's a wedding or a tragedy.
Yeah.
Right. And so, and it was very unexpected. She was just out having a good time with her wife. Some dudes beefing with each other, started shooting at each other.
Oh my gosh.
And she ended up getting killed. So,
wow.
Very unfortunate. I was able to see his sister though, because it's Davon's side of the family. So his sister came up, and that was nice. Just all the grandkids. I mean, the nieces. Well, all the nephews together. So it was her boys, just Joshua, Jayla, his brother E, because Janae, she be living her life, and Jonathan was with his dad. But it was just good, them able to spend some time together. Yeah. So that was cool, and then came back to.
What did you guys do actually for the 4th?
Girl, had all the plans. Oh, we could either go to Annapolis or we could go to St. Charles. We could do such and such. Baby, we was in that bed till 6 o'clock. And I said, wherever we were going, we should have already been. Yeah. So we stayed right up in that bed. And it's so crazy because, it was nice because we ate, and then outside of, he has to connect his building to the garage. It's like a walkway. If you stay on that walkway, you can see everything from all 4 different locations that they were doing big fireworks.
Where they were doing big fireworks.
Yeah, so you could stand out. So we saw whatever's at the National Harbor. We saw whatever was going on in these. We saw everything. Okay. So, and we saw you could see from inside the house, but on that walkway, you got to see all facets. So that was cool. Nice. We took the kids to a boardwalk at the wharf. It has it's like an arcade. It has food and stuff. So we went there. They usually have on TikTok it says they have a good brunch. So I was like, maybe one day we'll do that. And
so wait, is it like a Dave and Buster's type situation?
Not to that extent.
Okay.
So it has literally just arcade games. Okay. So we got food. Did that. It was a little more expensive than such is life. But,
and then the parking down there is always crazy.
Yeah, and that was 4th of July weekend, so of course it was definitely crazy. So we went on Saturday. Yes. Then Sunday, Christine calls. and she needed some stuff. So I went and dropped that off to her, spent a little time with her, and then I came home, went to the gym, started juicing. So we did the juicing stuff. Went to take her stuff, came back, got dressed because we do our bi-monthly like sibling dinner. Mm-hmm. So we did that. We went to Old Hickory at Gaylord, so that was nice. And then that was really it. Then back to work.
So siblings, all the siblings. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. So myself, Terrence, Ronnie, and Rhonda, the 4 of us, and then significant others. Okay. So the only thing, right? And it's no shade, no hate, no nothing, but it be a thing. So my niece has started to come.
How old is she?
15.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And so, but none of my kids come.
Yeah.
And then Aiden, my nephew, doesn't come.
I don't understand why your niece is coming.
And so my son's like, well, you know, she come me everywhere. That's like, but she doesn't though. Because if you're doing something for an adult situation, you go do your gig, she doesn't go. When you go do that to the salon to do whatever, she doesn't go. You know what I mean? And so I'm like, I don't bring my kids.
Right. That's why I asked first how old she was. Because
she's younger than she and Jayla are 9 months apart.
Because it'd be different. I think it would be different if like, Janae showed up. Because if y'all are ordering drinks, so this is adults. Yes, you know what I mean? Exactly. And so she's getting to that young adult space. So I could kind of see it. But if nobody else is bringing their kids.
And so my thing be, right, and I don't want to make it seem like it's not a jealousy thing or anything like that, because my kids can have all the same experiences. The thing that is unfortunate is that she will have a different relationship with her uncles because she comes to stuff. Right. And so you get your steak, oh, I'm like this because of my uncle. There's nothing like that for my children, for any of their aunts and uncles.
And the other part about it is if you now start bringing your kids, or if Terrence were to bring his son or whatever the case may be, now it's going to be, it changes the dynamic.
So my parents' mother has FOMO. And so she was like, first she kept saying, oh, I want to get invited. But then she was like, when we invited them this time, and she was like, no, I got stuff to do. I'm trying to fix some stuff for grandma and stuff like that. And I was like, well, we're going, because spoiler, Christine's going to be on the party. So I said, well, I'm going over this weekend, and I was planning on bringing her dinner so she would have something for Saturday and for Saturday night and Sunday night. And so I was like, so don't stress yourself, because I'll be here. And so she was like, but then the other thing is, I feel a certain kind of way because this is supposed to be a sibling thing for you all to nurture your bond so that when we are no longer here, you have that connection. You have that connection. And it's like, even she was kind of like, I don't understand why. It's not like a little kid and you can't find childcare.
Right, she can stay at home.
That's the thing. It's not like you can't find childcare. But even with that, if Nana and Papa, because my parents have watched Aiden before because they were doing it, you know what I mean? And so it's kind of like there is a little bit of annoyance. And no shade, but I think people don't recognize favoritism that comes with it. You know what I'm saying? He was talking about, so Jayla just turned 16 in March. We had her part. I did her part. I did all the things. My niece is turning 16 in December. And so my brother's like, oh, we definitely have to go to check this place out, this steak place out, because it's going to be your 16th birthday. There was you just had another niece that turned 16. Right. You know what I mean? Another niece that graduated from high school. She's now just turned 19. None of this excitement was around them. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so I don't know, as they get older, how that's going to play out.
I would say something. And it may fall on deaf ears, but I feel like people love to be like, well, nobody never said nothing. Nobody have an issue with this. So I would probably say something just for the sake of that. Just for the sake of when it becomes an issue, it can't be said that nobody ever said nothing. Right. Like, I would raise it to be like, hey, if this is just supposed to be the siblings, then it's just the siblings. If we're bringing our kids, then I'm going to bring my kids. And I feel like you saying that is going to have a completely different reaction than her, because she has one daughter that's 15. But if you brought all yours, then I feel that all of a sudden it's gonna be like, well, it's a family dinner now. But it didn't get turned into a family dinner when she brought hers. So
And the thing is, I wouldn't even necessarily bring the boys. It would be like if I just started bringing Danae.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So now it's not a thing.
Right.
Because then it's like, well, now none of the boys are here. So it's just like, you know what I mean? So it just starts to make it...
It's weird. It's like, keep it what it is. If it's just the siblings, then it's just the siblings. And spouses.
The thing is, the first one, she didn't even... She had a gig right after. So she did not... Like, so my niece was not there. So it's not because you had something else to do that she can't go because now it's a work thing.
Right.
You were away from her even longer with that.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I'm just like, it's kind of, you're benefiting from being a niece when you have, there are other nieces, other nephews, there's other relationships. And it's not as if I couldn't take my children there and stuff like that, but it's just the simple fact that no one goes out of the way. Excuse me, not no one, because my brother has, they have been very much so involved with her from the beginning. But
I get what you're saying, and you don't have to over explain it because I think you're just looking at it from the girl's perspective. They probably feel like, well, dang, why she get to go and we ain't get to go? Right. And it's like, nobody has an answer for that. Nobody has a response.
And so my thing is like, when they do find out, when they do say something, because jail is usually the one. So they looking at me, why you ain't bring us? My thing is like, and I'm like, this is a sibling thing. It really is just supposed to be the siblings and significant others, just because we shooting the shit and just talking about stuff. Right. And it's also an adult conversation. So some of the conversation is a little
inappropriate.
But it's dialed down.
Because she's there. Y'all can't talk about what y'all really need to talk about.
And if we are talking about stuff, should she even be...
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So, I don't know.
I would say something.
To me, it's not... My thing is y'all are missing out. You know what I'm saying? Because...
Even to your point, what is the point of us having a siblings dinner to discuss certain things if now we can't even talk freely because kids are in the room?
Because my thing is that because at some point the sibling dinner is also to discuss, all right, so God forbid something happens to mom and dad, Rhonda, what you gonna do? Right. Because are we all going to chip in to pay the taxes because you can't afford to pay you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Or just not even specific to a person, but like how have y'all had the conversation of how things are being divvied up or who's going to take care of what? Even that to me is inappropriate conversation for your niece to be in the room. Like this, you ain't got. You say this ain't got nothing to do with you. Yeah, I agree.
So it's kind of like that, and it's just like annoying. Well, it was a really nice dinner. We had a really good time.
Good, that's good. Have you been watching anything?
No. I was trying to go see Jurassic Park, child, but these people is up in the movies. You hear me?
I know, we should go. I don't know. Well, next weekend we're busy, but we should go. I want to see it too.
I'm going to Ocean City on Sunday.
Oh, you are?
For his birthday.
Oh, nice. Okay. Definitely. We'll have to look at the calendar and see, but I want to see it too.
Yeah, all next week.
Oh, really?
Girl, my daycare provider going to text us something. Hey, she told us she was going to be off in August. That's when my mom was like, okay. Layla went to summer school to take an extra class so that she could get a shorter schedule, do for whatever. And then I'm like, okay, so August you'll be home. You could watch Joshy. Not a big to do. Right. Now she's off Monday, Wednesday, and Friday of next week. Wow. And then off Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So she doesn't go back like time until July 25th. Wow. So I'm like, I'm just going to take the week off because I don't want to be in a situation where like I'm still up at 12, trying to get them home situated, trying to rush to work. I don't want to deal with that. And so I already had known by the time, because of course, I'm going to cruise with my mom. By the time that happens, I'll still have enough leave. But I had calculated, like I have 7 more weeks of what I would be paid, and which would inevitably give me another 40 hours. Okay. So I would end up having to October use 40, and then in December I would have to, before January, I would have to use another 40, right? Right. I would have time between November with Thanksgiving and doing stuff, and then again in December
like
when we,
Christmas,
because we want to go
yeah.
because it wasn't supposed to become I was like, so are we doing New York again? And I'm like,
oh, okay, nice. I like that.
Okay.
So now is she taking off in August?
I don't know. So I haven't dropped him off. So because he's doing the drop off, like she only texts the mothers. Right. So I'm telling him what this schedule is. And so in my mind, I feel like she knows that most people are going to be like, well, just keep them for the week. Because there's no point of trying to do like the back and forth kind of thing. Because, yeah.
Especially, I guess, if she's off, do you still have to pay for the whole week?
Yes.
But that's not fair. Like, I see if he went one day and you was like, well, he not coming, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and she like, okay, you still got to pay the whole week for Tuesday and Thursday. Mm-hmm. But if her facilities are closed, why then do we still have to pay for the full week?
Because it's just like how we get paid time off.
Okay.
Because like in a regular daycare, they will be off like they'll take a week off. Like, oh, the daycare's closed for a week. And they did a week in December, and they did it a week. And they actually did it 3 times. It was a week in December, a week in, not a whole week for spring break, but a nice amount of time for spring break. Mm-hmm. Then they'll do a week in the summer.
And you still have to pay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. So pay time off as we get it as well, especially because I know I'm not paying nearly what I should be paying.
Yeah. I mean, which is fine, but I guess for me, I feel like if it's like a pay week type thing, I would be charging enough so that I could take that week off and not have, and you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I mean, and like realistically, because at first I'm kind of like, I understand, but I'm like, realistically, if you're working every day, you get the federal holidays, because that would be the same thing as like, oh, am I supposed to get paid for the...
Now the holidays I get, mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, okay, but he came all week, and Juneteenth or 4th of July was on a Friday. Mm-hmm. Everything was closed on Friday. Mm-hmm. But he was there Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So that's, like, if you paying for a whole week for him to be off on Friday because it's a holiday, I get that. Mm-hmm. But she's saying, I'm taking 3 days off. Mm-hmm. And for still expecting you to pay for the whole week.
It's her vacation.
So
paid vacation.
Me personally, he would be there Tuesday and Thursday because I'm still paying you for the whole week.
So that's the thought of it. But then the other thing is like,
he gonna be there Tuesday.
So I said, because I'm thinking Tuesday I can take the older kids to Six Flags and mm-hmm. I have to worry about Joshua.
Right.
And then Thursday do something with just them and not having to worry about Joshua. But that was going to be my plan.
Yeah.
There are people that's like, instead of back and forth, I'm sending them with their grandfather or grandparents for the week. Yeah, instead of me having to take them over them every day. You know what I'm saying? Too much. So for me, I'm like, probably because I also don't pay for it. And so I think he's like, if she's open, he's up in there.
That's how I feel.
Kind of thing. Which I'm cool with. Doesn't bother me. Because he's going to be there right the same.
Right.
The thing is, and the reason I'm taking off, because those days I could go into work, but mm-hmm. I'm taking off because I feel like, because this is what happened around Christmas. She didn't take Christmas, mm-hmm. right? Or a couple of days, like the Christmas Eve. I still had to work. But once he got dropped off, it was like maybe an hour later or 2 hours later, she was like, oh, he has a runny nose. He seemed like he's not feeling well. Is somebody home so I could drop him off? And I was like, he wasn't sick when I left.
Right.
You know, so okay, whatever. I was off early-ish.
But did he have a runny nose when you got him? Yeah. I mean, you know, I don't know how this be. I don't know how this go.
So I was like, you know, whatever. That's the plan for next week, which kind of works out because it's so his brother's only going to be here for another 2 weeks. And some of the stuff that we wanted to do, like his plan was to come here and work. Mm-hmm. So he didn't have anything planned out for him to do because he was going to be working, right? Yeah. So then monkey wrench thrown in. Oh, we found out he's not working. Then we go down south for the funeral. We have this, right, you know. Right. So next week will be the week where try to do some like fun stuff, mm-hmm. like I said, and stuff. But now that Jayla's in the summer school, I'm thinking it would be a perfect time for us to take off on to the Sunday, like go on or Tuesday to the beach because nobody's going to be there. People going to be at work. Yeah. Like the people be there already planned to be off. But most of those people were off for the 4th or, or even this week. Nobody's going to be off like the middle of July.
Maybe, but
it's not going to be as many people. So I'm like...
But now you have to basically wait till she get out of school before you could do anything.
And I even said that would be a perfect time because he's more than likely not going to go. He's just going to have FOMO. Remember, like on that Tuesday when Joshua goes to daycare, we could have left early and went to King's Dominion.
Well,
sucks for her. So anyway, so that's the main reasons why we're going to
Ocean City
on Sunday.
Okay.
Because at first I was like Saturday, and I was like, oh no, I got Christine.
Yeah.
And then I said, let's do it Sunday. I said, and then I'll drive back, and you could go to sleep because I'm not working Monday.
Right. Okay.
So.
Oh yeah, good.
It'll be fun. I'm gonna have my little tent up. We're gonna leave at 8 a.m. Try to have the car packed and ready to go.
We'll be there at the end of the month, but I'll tell you about it when I get back.
Sometimes I was like, I want to go to Secrets, but I got Joshua. Secret is I know. But anyway, so how's your week?
So my week was good. I'm still kind of not really. I think I've gotten myself together at this point. What did we? So 4th of July, I was with my family. My aunt cooked out, and we just kind of did the family thing. She remember you were saying for Joshua's birthday party, you had bought like the little blow up like pool slide thing. So she got one of those, and so my cousin and my nephew were having a ball with that. And then the day I went to my uncle, I went to Durrell's and got in the pool, and that was Saturday. We did that. Sunday, I really didn't do too much. I was I was running around because I did end up getting my Beyoncé tickets. I wasn't really running around, but like I was doing a little bit of shopping, trying to get my little accessories together. And we gotta talk about that because I don't know. I feel like I have a little bit of a decent style per se, but it's like when I seen what other people had on, I was like, maybe I don't have style. So anyway, but one thing I knew for sure is that I needed. I was like, I want to be comfortable. It's gonna be hot, so I ended up going to Dick's to get me a pair of shoes, like a pair of just like walking shoes, because I was like, I don't love Beyonce that much to be in boots. Cowboy boots. Yeah, hell no. And I have a pair of cowboy boots, but no.
They're not kicking in. I'm not
and hell no. I had on some hokas.
I know that's right. Hello.
And I was nice and comfortable. So that's what I did Sunday. So Monday, okay. So I don't know what, like, I feel like everybody has talked about Beyonce concert, Cowboy Carter, DC, night 1, night 2, all the different things. So I'll just give like the whole recap of my experience. I mean, I've seen Beyonce now about 5 times, so it's always a good experience. I mean, I definitely had fun, but it's not like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. Like, I know what I'm gonna get. You know what I mean? I would be more surprised if it wasn't.
Yeah, if it didn't come out that way.
Yeah, so that part is like, I really can't say anything about that part. But what I will say is I had Chris with me, and this was his first time seeing her. So watching him experience it for the first time, that was fun. Like, that was fun. But I watched a lot of TikTok videos of people saying from night 1, 4th of July, like what to expect and like all of this. So somebody said it was fear mongering. I don't know if it was that, but I tried to be smart about it. Like, okay, people are saying the lines were long. They're saying get there early. You know, they're saying that the stadium is disorganized, all this and that. So here was my initial plan. I was like, okay, I'm going to pay for parking because I'm not walking from no metro. And I'm not going to park on the street. Like, I grew up in Glen Arden, so I know what it's about.
Yeah.
So I was
kind of fool off.
Yeah, I'm going to pay for parking. And I was telling Chris, I said, well, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to pack a little cooler with some water, some soda, some snacks, like a little charcuterie, kind of little meat and cheese, some chips and little snacks. And I was like, worst case scenario, we get there as soon as the parking opens at 3:30, and we just sit in the car and suck up the AC and chill, basically like a little mini tailgate, right? So that was our plan. He actually worked that day, which I was shocked. I didn't work. I was like, I'm gonna just take it easy, get my mind right. Chris went to work, but he does the 6 to 2. Is that how it works? Okay. So he gets off from work. We meet up at my mom's house. My mom lives in Glenarden. So meet up at my mom's house. He gets dressed there. I'm already dressed. And then we go straight to the stadium. We get there maybe like 3:45. And it was a breeze getting there. The parking lot was empty. It was easy to get in. We got in. They did scan my ticket for parking. Got a good parking spot. Sat in the car for a minute. So I started having anxiety. And I should have just, I don't know, y'all. I should have just stuck with my gut. But I started having anxiety because I'm seeing people walking up. We're seeing people walking from the subway. We're seeing people walking from their cars. We're just seeing like waves and waves of people walking up to the stadium. Remember, my initial plan, we was going to chill in the car and just wait it out. Doors don't open till 5:30. It's like 4:30. So I'm like, oh gosh, should we go now? Like, it seemed like it's a lot of people. Maybe if we wait, you know what I'm saying, the lines will be super long. Like, I don't know what to do. So Chris was like, well, what do you want to do? I was like, I don't know. So I did want merch. I wanted merch. I wasn't pressed. I was like, I would love to get a nice little t-shirt or something like that, but I'm not pressed. So we could see the merch truck, but I didn't realize how long the line was. So I'm seeing all these people walking up. And so finally, my anxiety got the best of me. I'm like, let's just walk up there. It's like 4:45. I'm like, let's just walk up there. Doors open at 5:30. Worst case scenario, we'll be standing out there for maybe about an hour, right? Or a little bit less than an hour. So we walk up, and when we get up there, the line's long as fuck. Like, the merch line it's almost like, it reminded me of like going through TSA at the airport. And then the line to get in to the stadium just as long. And I'm like, why is it a line to get into the stadium?
Because ain't nobody got nowhere else to go.
So Chris was like, do you want to go back to the car? I'm like, I'm scared to go back to the car now. Like, everybody in line, like, I don't know what we lining up for. Because I'm like, she's not going to come on until the sun go down, which is going to be at least, it ain't going to be before 8 o'clock.
Right.
So we get in at 5:30. What are we doing for 3 hours?
Nothing.
Right. So, but I'm also like, everybody's lining up, so maybe they know something I don't know.
They know that they don't have no car to sit in.
Okay, well,
that's what they know. I'm trying to get to a seat.
But even the people that had parked in the parking lot was walking up there.
They be wanting to just be in the mix, or they try to meet their friends.
So I was like, so I asked Chris, I was like, are you comfortable? He was like, yeah, I'm okay. So I was like, all right, let's just wait. And it's hot as hell. The sun is beaming. We're sweating.
I'm in that car.
I'm contemplating. I'm like, fuck, should we go back to the car? But then I'm like, okay, we go back to the car. We sit in the car. But then we still have to come back and probably stand in line. Like, we lose our spot in line. And then we still have to come back and stand in line.
But the line is also long because the gates are closed.
That's what I was thinking too. And I was like, eventually the line will move, right? But I just was so paranoid. I don't know why. I was so paranoid. Like, what is going on? Like, why is everybody, like, my anxiety was just high. Like, everybody else made my anxiety high. So we stand in the line. The gates open at 5:30. We go through. Y'all know Chris has a little heart situation. So we tell them, like, he can't go through the metal detector. Y'all got to pay him down. So they pull us to the side. They do that. Their security was shoddy at best. Like, it is what it is. It is what it is. So we get in. When we get in, mind you, we weren't the first ones, but like, we're in that initial line. So we're like, maybe like the first couple hundred in there. Soon as we get in there, I don't know how, Soon as we get in there, every line for food, long. Every line for merch, long. Bathroom line, long. I'm like, how is it that we were the initial wave of people to get in here, and there's multiple different places, different things that you could do to line up for, and the lines are long as hell. I didn't understand that. The math wasn't mathing.
Yeah.
So then that irritated me. So then I'm like, what are we gonna do now? We're in here now. Mm-hmm. We can't leave back out and go to the car. Like, now we just gotta figure it out. Mm-hmm. So I was like, all right, Chris, what do you want to do? He was like, I'm hot. We've been staying outside. Let's just get something cold to drink. So he gets in line for lemonade. I said, I'm gonna try to get merch, because the merch line was long, but it looked like it was moving. Mm-hmm. Stand in the line. Stood there for like 30 minutes. It was moving, but I still wasn't close. Mm-hmm. So one of the guys that worked there comes out and he's like, hey, if y'all go to the 4th floor, it's nobody in line up there. Like, you know, their merch stands are, mm-hmm. it's nobody in line up there, basically. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, okay. But I'm like, I'm not walking up that ramp all the way to the 4th floor. He was like, you could take the elevator. So I go to take the elevator. I was like, hey, the guy over here just told me I could take the elevator, go to the 4th floor and get merch. The guy that was guarding the elevator was like, you can't do that. I was like, he literally just told a group of us mm-hmm. to do that because the merch line is so long. Mm-hmm. And he was like, I'm going to let you on this elevator. And he was like, I'm going to let you go up. He was like, but if anybody asks, tell them that you got a disability. I was like, okay. So I get on the elevator, mm-hmm. no problem. Mm-hmm. Go up, get to the 4th floor, merch line, long. I'm like, he sabotaged me. Yeah, he gave me bad advice. Why would he say that?
Yeah. You can't, this is what ends up happening, right? The line may have started, let's say the line kind of started, right? You've now done some other stuff.
And now you done made your way to the bottom.
It ain't like, oh, ain't no line upstairs. You don't know what happened in the last 20 minutes.
Exactly. So then I called Chris. I'm like, what's up? He like, hey, I finally got the lemonade. Where you at? I'm like, I'm on the 4th floor because somebody told me the line was shorter up here. So he was like, oh, well, like, what do you want to do? Mm-hmm. So I said, can you stand in the merch line down there, and then I'm going to just come down and I'll jump in wherever you're at. Because I'm like, at this point, it's nothing else we can do but go to our seats. And it's only like 5:45, almost 6 o'clock. The sun's still, like we're going to be sitting in the sun. Mm-hmm. So he was like, all right, I'll try to stand in the merch line for you. He stood in the merch line for maybe like 10 minutes while I walked down, because I wasn't able to finesse to get the elevator back down. I had to go down the ramp. Mm-hmm. So I'm coming down the ramp. Then Chris texts me like before I get all the way to the bottom, and he was like, I'm over it. I'm about to go sit down somewhere and drink my lemonade. And so I was like, okay, fine. Don't worry about it. So then I get back down, and he's drunk his lemonade. So then he was like, I got to get back in line because I want to go to the seat, but I want to get a drink to take with me to the seat. Mm-hmm. I said, okay, cool. So we do that. We get back in line. We both get drinks and snack to take back with us to the seat. At this point, it's maybe a little after 6. So we go. We get to our seats. And as I was coming down from the 4th floor, I'm looking out and I'm seeing like what's going on. Mm-hmm. And it's a cluster of people out there, but mind you, this is like maybe 6:15. It's not as bad as it was when we were standing in line. And so this is why I was kind of pissed, because I'm like, I should have just trusted my gut and stayed in the car like I said I was going to. Because we literally could have walked up at 6:15 and been just fine. And the lines on the inside would have still been long, because now me and Chris getting in line a second time to get another drink, and the line is just as long as it was when we got in the first time. So whatever, it is what it is. So then we get to our seat, and after that, everything was pretty much fine. Like sitting in our seat was fine. People were a little kind of like bitchy a little bit, which is weird, because like normally when I go to concerts, I feel like the people around me, or the people I'm sitting around, is normally like, yeah, oh, y'all look cute, you know, we get ready to see Beyonce, you know, whatever. Yeah. It didn't give that. It gave, I don't know, maybe people were just hot
and
irritated.
Hot and annoyed.
But it really gave like it was a weird energy. It was like people was like didn't want you to touch them. It's like I'm not touching you on purpose. Like I'm dancing or like
it's hot.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, people were hot and irritated. So that kind of to me dampened the experience a little bit. But once Beyonce came on, it started performing and doing everything. It was good. It was so good. The outfits, all of the outfits that I saw were really nice. I thought DC folks did a good job with the outfits. Now this is what I was gonna say. Like I was thinking like I just wanted to be comfortable, but I wanted to be cute at the same time. In my mind, my vision was cute, but then like. And when I put my clothes on and there was nobody else around me, I thought I was cute. But then when I got there and like saw other people, I was like, I probably could have made some different choices.
Listen, your style is your style.
I know, but I feel like I gotta work on it because I don't know. I was trying to give. So this is what I was thinking in my head. This is what I was going for. I was like, oh, I could give like a glammed up kind of like casual cowgirl vibe. So I did some shorts, and so what I wanted to do, but I couldn't find, so I thought I could just make it. I wanted to do, you seen the shorts that have like the lace? They shorts, but they have like lace at the bottom. So it's like, look like pants, but it's not. I was trying to do that. So I had got these leggings that had lace at the bottom and just put the shorts on top, right? And so it was kind of still giving it to me. And then I was like, I'll just do a regular t-shirt. And then I'll do like some accessories. Like I'll just do like, you know, some little jewels or whatever. And hat, cowboy hat. I thought that was cute. I thought it looked cute.
You look cute.
But then I was saying other people, I was like, maybe not. Like maybe I could have zhuzhed it up a little bit more. I said something to my sister about it. She was like, I mean, I feel like you were a little underdressed, but it's like whatever, you were hot, so.
But I think like, I don't know. So I'll say this. I've seen, like this is one lady that I follow on the socials. And some of her stuff, she makes it cute. And she does all of the things. But I don't see myself in that.
I also think it's a difference between what you see on social media and what is practical. Like, y'all, it was 95 degrees and some of the girls did it. A lot of the girls were in full denim outfits. A lot of the girls were in, you know, leather head to toe. Me personally, I will sacrifice fashion because I'm not about to be in a whole leather outfit.
I'm going to you better than me because I'd have been in some regular ass clothes because I'm hot and I ain't on nobody's. What is it? I am not. What's the thing? What's the photos that I am not on nobody's Getty nothing.
Right. I'm Getty images.
I'm not on the Getty M's. Not on the red card.
I also felt like we paid all this money to see Beyonce in costume, to see Beyonce perform. Like, that. Yeah, but I was the people, they really ate it up. I was like, I need to work on it.
My sister-in-law went on 4th of July on Friday. She said, I seen so many ashless chaps.
Yes.
And the men, she said, and the culprits were the men.
Yes.
And they didn't shave their butts.
No. It's funny that you bring that up because I said that to Chris. I was like, for the guys, if you're going to be out here with your butt out, it could at least be shaved.
It could wax on.
Yeah, Chris said when he went to the bathroom, he was like, you would be surprised how many asses was exposed at the urinal. And he's like, normally, you know, like if you're going out to a restaurant or movies or something, you got on jeans and a t-shirt and you just kind of pull your stuff out. He was like, but because of these costumes they had on, people was bare ass. He was like, I had to hurry up, go in there, pee, and get the fuck out. He was like,
ashless chaps and G-strings for Beyonce. If you don't take your ass, literally, on about your business.
It was a lot of that going on, but they look cute though. Like, everybody looked good. I was like, oh, I'm just like, maybe I need to get myself together.
But then they also like, sometimes you just don't need to do too much. Like your outfit reminded me of the young lady I follow. Do I still follow her? She's been working out, but she's very you have really wide hips. She's like a really good shape to be. I'm like, your stomach is going away, but your hips are saying here to stay. They said I ain't going nowhere. But anyway, she had like the same kind of like it wasn't like a whole bunch of. She had some jeans on, a little crop top. Like it wasn't crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. I just
people really want to be comfortable. When I'm looking at some of these TikToks and they like, child, the shoes had to go to this. I don't. First, I'm not walking on nobody's stadium with socks. And or
so barefoot. That's one thing I can't say. I was comfortable the whole night. I didn't have to take no shoes off. I didn't have to. And then I'm like, how you be sitting your bare butt on stadium seats?
That's literally what we were talking about. Like, there ain't enough Clorox in the world.
Yeah, I wouldn't put my bare ass cheeks on. Even like girls that be wearing them like short shorts where you like your booty hang out at the bottom. I'd be like, ooh, but you gotta sit that on the seat.
You gotta sit it on the seat and your butt gets stuck.
Yeah, I don't like that. We were up dancing the whole time. I had to teach Chris how to do the fan because he didn't know. So we had our fan, right? And he was like, oh yeah, this is just like in case you get hot or whatever. I was like, no, you got to clap it. He was like, what is that? I was like, you never did the boots on the ground. He was like, I've seen people doing it. He was like, but I didn't know that was the fan making that noise. I'm like, yes. No. I'm like, the fan is a whole moment. Like, so we were in there like, we was clacking it up. We was clacking it up.
Having a time.
I'll drop in some videos for y'all and some clips or whatever. I don't be taking a whole lot of videos because for me,
it's the experience.
Yeah. You already know. Listen, I paid my money. I'm not about to watch her through my phone screen. So
I know.
It's all the videos on TikTok and Instagram and all of that. But I did take a couple, so I'll drop in what I have. But it was, other than that, we had a good time. I mean, so all right, towards the end, it was crazy getting out of there.
Yeah. We
tried to wait like a little bit, like we let the rush of people leave out, and we tried to kind of wait until security was like, oh, y'all gotta leave. And then we walked out. But even then, we got to the car. We still had to sit in the car for about an hour.
Yeah, the thing about stadiums, they're in a very congested space. So, like, even trying to get out, you're going to, like, the only light that wouldn't be as impacted, but they do have those multiple lights getting out of the stadium. But if you took went like you were going like towards Capitol Boulevard, and you know how you could take 495 right there, you don't really, if you're not getting stuck necessarily at that light, but you'll get stuck at that first light. That's
where the church is.
Whatever that road is, I can't think of the name of it. So, but yeah,
we had to take Garrett Morgan Boulevard because that's where our parking was, and the way they were doing it, it was like certain sections you were only able to come out one specific way. Like I couldn't say, "Oh, I want to go the other way." Like no,
you have to go out that way. Yeah, even with Garrett Morgan, that's not as bad, but you got all those lights where those houses are.
Yeah. So the good thing is the police did like. They were shuffling us through. Like we weren't really waiting at the lights. Only like we had to wait at was Central Avenue. Get on Central Avenue. Yeah. So, but it just took. It was just congestion. It just took an hour getting out.
It's that area is very. It's just a congested area.
But the good thing was I had my little pack. So
I was going to say you had. I thought when you were talking about your snack pack, I thought you were talking about the snack pack for when you leaving.
So we ended up doing it when we left because obviously we didn't do it going in. So when we came back, Chris was like, "You still got that water?" I sure do.
We prepared.
It's nice and cool.
Yeah, clearly, yes indeed.
So we sat in the car and we had our little snacks and everything. So I do recommend that if you ever be in that situation,
I always have a little snack in the car.
I do recommend like a little snack pack. So we did that and got out. I didn't get home till probably about 2:00 in the morning. Which was why the next day I didn't work. I just needed to fully
decompress.
Yes, and
I get it.
But it was a good time. It's always good seeing my girl. A couple takeaways though for me personally, and I think I've said this before. I'm kind of done with concerts, like all that hustle bustle, whatever. I'm kind of done with it.
Yeah.
But like we had talked about, like it's Beyonce. I'm gonna be honest with you.
You never go to number 3?
I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I was really on the fence about going.
Yeah, you were.
I really was, because I just know like all of the rigmarole I'm gonna have to go through.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's not like I've never seen her before. But here's what I've learned or my takeaways for myself. I think for me, I need to really invest in my comfort. And I normally always get pretty decent seats. Like we sat in the 100 section. I think it was like 125, row 3. So we were pretty close. But I feel like at this point, I'm going to have to try to figure out how to get into them club levels. Because I want concierge. I want a bar. I want a bar inside the thing. Yeah. I want them to bring chicken tenders to the room.
So this is when you have to find and have people that are willing to go in with you.
So I saw this girl and I was so tempted, but I'd already bought my tickets when I saw this. I saw this girl had posted on Facebook. She bought a box.
Oh, you were telling me.
And she was selling tickets.
Yeah.
And I was so tempted because it was $1,000, but it came with she had already. I guess I don't know how the boxes work, y'all, but I'm assuming because she'd already told us what the menu was. I'm assuming that you pre-order food to kind of like have buffet style because she was saying with your ticket comes like. She had listed the food and your own private bar in there. So,
now did you have to pay for your drinks, or was that also included?
I think you did have to pay for your drinks, but for the comfort, for the not having to deal with the hassle,
and the bathrooms are pretty close,
and all of the famous people be up there. So like. Even if it's just off the chance that I might see Jay-Z when I'm going to the bathroom.
Well, see, they usually be at the what's-the-face.
At the what?
It's a little, sometimes, well, depending on where you are, they have, so you have the, like, floor, but then you have, like, the...
That's where I'm trying to be.
Like, that's the club level?
Yeah.
I thought the club level was in the suites.
It is in the suites. What you talking about?
So, like, when I saw, like, I'll say for Wisdom people, and I'm saying this may also be depending on these stadiums.
Yeah.
Because when they were in, like, Europe, you still had the club stuff, but they had, like, a, I want to say, I keep wanting to say high platform, where...
So, okay, they did have the platform, and they could come to it, but crazy enough, and y'all tell me what's up with this, night 2, it was nobody on the platform. It was one family on the platform. They look Arab. I mean, they just look Arab. That's not a racial thing. I'm just describing them. I don't know who they were. They may have been famous, or they may have been rich or wealthy. It was a man would look like his wife and 2 other adult women, which I assume were his daughters or something like that. Yeah. They were the only ones on the platform, and then they would come down off the platform occasionally and walk to the front. So I don't know if that platform is like another VIP section you can go to if you don't want to be up front. I don't know how that platform thing works. Yeah. But these folks were kind of walking back and forth.
Gotcha.
Like they would stand up front for a little bit, and I guess when they were ready to sit down, they would come and get on the platform and sit on the platform.
So I wonder if that's like the VIP, like extra VIP seating.
Maybe.
And then you just pay for that part too.
Maybe. Yeah. And then the first night, Tina Knowles was on the platform, but she wasn't there the second night.
Yeah, so that's what I think it is.
But I think that, because remember, I don't know if you've seen the clips, I think it was in Europe, but Jay-Z, they had filmed Jay-Z in the box Mm-hmm. He was like behind the glass in the little in the club seats, dancing or whatever to like Beyonce performing. So I feel like they could kind of go wherever they want.
I think as a celebrity, you probably can't. They, like her family could probably maneuver around. But yeah, I mean,
so that's my goal. That's what I'm manifesting for myself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Act 3, I have, if she keeps with the same thing, I have 2 years. So we're looking at 2026. Whether I have to save my money.
So this one girl on TikTok, she says she has a Beyonce account.
I probably will do the same.
Money away.
I don't necessarily have a Beyonce account, but I do have a credit card that I have used. I mainly use it for mostly all my concerts. I could see that being like my Beyonce credit card per se.
Yeah, she said because I mean everybody don't have a credit card or want to have to pay it off. They want to already have the money kind of set aside for it. But yeah, so she does that. But I'm glad you had time.
I did have a time. I did. I did. I folded. I went. I told y'all I might sneak and see her.
I had no doubts that you would. I had no doubts that you would.
I didn't get any merch. This shirt is from Renaissance last year. Yeah. But I ordered some offline after the whole thing. I was just like, fuck
it. The DC one is cute.
It is. I honestly don't be surprised if you see me in a bootleg version. Cause the bootleggers, the what do you call them?
Oh, listen, they gonna hustle it out.
The what you call them when they make it?
The replicas.
The replicas. They already making them.
Listen, they just show me the design, baby, and I got you.
And you know what? I'm okay with that.
Hello.
It's literally just a t-shirt.
Let me have had a cricket.
You'd have been out there $20. $20.
This don't say Beyonce. What Martin, he said, hey, this is Whitney Houston. Instead of Whitney Houston, that joke gonna say Beyonce. It say Beyonce gonna beyond.
Well, guys, y'all drop down in the comments if y'all have questions or anything. I'll answer them. My sister was saying like I should do like a blog of like all the different concerts that I've been to of Beyonce and kind of like my review. I feel like I don't think people would want that content. Like it's so much information out there about her that like I don't know. I just feel like my perspective on it is really not that not that great.
Yeah. We didn't get to it. But
we got a little bit of time.
Oh, because we got to talk about the Diddy verdict.
Oh yeah, you know what? That was so last week.
That was so last week.
But yes, the Diddy verdict. We can spend 10 minutes on it.
So the thing is, these are my thoughts. I feel like nobody wanted to give him life. Because when it comes down to these type of situations, everybody also takes into account who they think he is. You know, he's this guy, he's done this, and that's, I was watching the Breakfast Club today on YouTube, and a lot of people were calling in like, he's done this great thing, he's done that great thing, and in my mind, I'm like, so did Bill Cosby.
Right.
You know what I mean? So did a lot of people did great. So did, what's his name? Russell. Fat Farm.
Simmons,
yes. He did great things. Pedophiles do great things. That does not mean that they... Hello? What are we talking about? There are police officers. The pastor... I mean, not the pastor. The priest at the church do great things.
Right.
Doesn't mean that they don't have an evil personality.
Absolutely.
So... I think that also plays into account because if you're going into New York for him to have this trial, there's nobody in New York that does not know who Diddy is. That's just not going to be the case. And so there is going to be a bias there, and for that bias, he would have had to commit murder in front of a CVV cam and said, take that. For them to say, okay, now you were a little extreme. You know what I mean? So, and then the blame game was like, oh, she was complicit. She was this, she was that. One thing I appreciate, and I don't always agree with Charlamagne, but one thing he said, he was like, when do we hold them accountable? Mm-hmm. You can say the government's shaking them down. Why are you giving them anything to be able to shake? Mm-hmm. Oh, you can say he had enablers. Why would you give them anything to enable? Yeah. You are the common denominator in all this. And so everybody wants to blame everybody else. All right. Oh, Cassie should have did it. Cassie wouldn't have had to do anything if he hadn't exposed her to it. Yeah. She was not the one who was doing the exposing. Mm-hmm. He not only, and this is what the judge said when he was asking for bail, because even his defense said he was
like a violent person,
and that's abusive, and but then the judge said, you knew what was happening, right? You knew you and I were going to meet in this courtroom, and when they picked you up, all the stuff that they said that they had ready for you in these different freak off rooms, they picked you up and found that same stuff in that hotel room, right? When you knew you was coming to see me, right? That's crazy work. Yeah. So in my mind, that means you think that you are above the law. Mm-hmm. And so now you can have these people say, oh, we're going to give him this light, guilty of possibly 20 years. I don't care. That judge has seen all the same things. Mm-hmm. And he's going to judge off of how he feels. Mm-hmm. You didn't get bail not because this is a first-time offense. Can he just be on house arrest? No. I saw what you've done. I now have some stake in how I feel about this. Mm-hmm. So the jury can say whatever they want. They didn't acquit you. Now you in my hands. Right. And so Charlamagne brought up a good point, and they were trying to debate it. But I was like, that's the first thing that came to my mind when this happened with OJ. Mm-hmm. And he got acquitted of the murder. Mm-hmm. When he was sentenced, he was put in jail for stealing merch, his merch back. Yeah. Which anybody else is a slap on the wrist or a fine. That Negro got 20 years. Yep. Because they wanted to get him for something. Yep. So I'm not saying that's going to happen, but it's not too far out of the realm. Now we are talking about a little different of a story where these people have actually lost their lives. She is a Caucasian woman that was a Caucasian man, so and he's a black man, so it's a whole thing. But it's giving the same energy. It is. It's really giving the same energy, and so the sad thing is, and I again agree with Charlamagne, I don't think too many people are going to learn from this. And when people were calling in and not saying what it really was, and it was more like, well, everybody here, shut up. Shut the hell up and talking to me.
I think I agree with you. People are not going to learn from this. And, it's not that we don't have to take accountability, but I do think that we are victims, all of us are victims of a system, right? Yeah. And so this system, it doesn't benefit them for us to see these predators for who they are. Oh, yeah, no. It benefits them for us to have a wool over our eyes when it comes to predatory people. Mm-hmm. And while we try to have a checks and balances, or we try to avenge people or have a way for people to find justice, because I think that's the moral thing to do. When it comes down to it, there is no morality. There's just the haves and the have-nots. Mm-hmm. You can't get away with it because you're not rich enough. Mm-hmm. Is basically the message. Mm-hmm. Because Harvey Weinstein, because our president, you know what I mean? Like, you, for whatever reason, whether it be money, whether it be power, whether it be the right people, you know what I mean, that you have talked to or come across, you put yourself in a place where you're not at the top of the food chain. Yeah. And so now, because you're not at the top of the food chain, you're not untouchable. Yeah. And that's just what it is. Like, they really don't want us to see these predators for who they are, because then we have to start seeing everybody for who they are.
And that was the biggest thing somebody else was talking to. You know, of course there's all these think pieces and things like that. And it's like, that's why Uncle still comes to the family reunion. Mm-hmm. That's why, you know, it's just so, it's very much so unfortunate. And I don't understand how you can, like, people kill me so when they, oh, she should have just left. There are so many people that just should just leave abusive relationship. Oh, you should have just left the drugs alone. When you are addicted to something, an addiction is not just from a narcotic.
Yeah.
An addiction is not just from something that is tangible. Niggas be addicted to a lot of things.
They be addicted to lying. They be addicted to scheming.
But then they be like, you just need to get some help.
Mm-hmm.
Or now, don't believe what such and such said. Like, you know they be lying.
How he is.
And then it'd be like, no, can he go about his day? No, well, you know, he's still family. We still gotta love him, you know, love him to health, you know. You got to look at him like, you got to be like the Lord. Mm-hmm. No, that nigga lie. Mm-hmm. You see what happened to the Lord when he dealt with Judas? Anyway, I hope we go under the jail. Oh, and then they said he had a round when he went to the court. Went back to the prison. He had a round of applause.
From who?
The prisoner. Someone said, "Y'all, you beat the feds."
Oh God.
I'm like,
when the prisoners are clapping for you, I feel like you should really
reevaluate your entire life.
Yeah. What?
And the fact that your lawyer even said or made that announcement. Mm. If I were the judge, I'd be like, 20 years, just because you done pissed me off.
One thing I can say, his lawyers were really good. He had excellent. His
lawyers were good, but I think because the question was they didn't understand what the racketeering was. This is how I feel, and because the racketeering is clear to me.
Yeah,
that is the clearest. Like, outside of, like, you can't say that he did not put prostitutes across the line. Like, there's no way you can say that, right? Mm-hmm. But the racketeering was very clear. Mm-hmm. Even if you can't say the sex trafficking is much harder to prove unless you in chain and bondage, right? Mm-hmm. But it's, part of me feels like you didn't want to give him that because that's taking the blame away from those victims. Mm-hmm. Like, you want to still be able to blame them for something. Like, oh, you could have left, so he couldn't have trafficked. Like, it's that little bit to say, no, y'all ain't completely innocent or whatever. Mm-hmm. But I just feel that when you know who somebody is, you're in your mind, you're like, you took into the fact that he is a social media, he's in, a celebrity. So now this has tainted his entire image. He won't have the same type of lifestyle where people are just going to, fawning over him to have business dealing. Like, you won't have the fans or whatever, but the business dealings, people are not going to be really ready. No one's going to really want to work with you. Yep. Because the public opinion is so heavy of, you're just a trifling dude. Yeah. Right? That is, in a lot of people's minds, that's worse. That's better than a life sentence, or that's worth more than a life sentence. But if he had no celebrity, I promise you that he'd have been under the jail. I think they took into account his lifestyle, and they didn't want to just take it to that extreme.
I agree.
So, anyway, go to jail. He thought he knew he was coming home.
Well, so he thought.
Surprise, surprise.
Surprise, surprise.
I just said, you are violent. And you had the nerve to still have some baby oil when you was getting picked up. Who crazy enough to do, when they picked me
somebody
up.
Somebody that feels like what they're doing is not wrong. Something
no.
about what they're doing.
Somebody that knows what they're doing is wrong but doesn't care or think that he can, like, something's going to happen to him. Because my thing is, for some of the conversations, when he said to Jane in that text message or voice note, It's this coercion. Like, you know what you doing, but you don't think nothing's gonna happen to you.
Yeah.
And probably because he's friends with the man in the damn White House.
That too.
But one thing you got to remember, brother, you still black. Hello? Oh, okay.
I'm not black, I'm OJ. Okay.
Bow, bow, bow. Well, that was another great episode. Catch up with us. The little catch up episode.
Guys, make sure you like, subscribe, hit the notification button, tell a friend to tell a friend.
Drop down in them comments. Did you go see Beyoncé?
There's a lot of people.
How did you feel about the ashless chaps? How did you feel? Is it an ashless chap epidemic at these concerts?
I think so.
Oh my! And if you are a guy that's gonna do something like that, if you just by happenstance see this, shave your ass. Go get a wax. Okay, if you want to do what the women do, you got to go all the way through.
I agree.
You know. And what y'all think about
Okay.
Yep. Had a drink or two.
With that being said, we'll drink to that.